Did you know that childhood trauma can have lasting effects on mental health? Researchers in primary care settings have started exploring connection between childhood abuse and adult health behaviors and diseases. In the United States, the main reason for illness and death are linked to how people live and their lifestyle choices. These factors have been called the actual causes of death. Childhood trauma, to the extent that it contributes to the development of these risk factors, become another potential factor and should be recognized as basic cause of illness and death.
I've always been anxious. I mean, the depression didn't seem to start until I was in my teens.
This is Leah. She is struggling with ADHD and depression due to her childhood.
My father had passed away. He had cancer, and how my mom took it afterwards. Started to have a really bad drinking problem and started taking prescription medications all the time. As a kid, I was always afraid something was gonna.
Adults who experience trauma as children have higher risk of physical and psychological problems, and also long-term neurological changes.
Childhood trauma covers a huge spectrum. It covers abandonment, death of a parent, alcoholic parents, childhood sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse.
Experiencing trauma disrupts normal brain development in crucial areas, like the brainstem, which regulates stress, survival, and metabolism, the midbrain and the encephalon, responsible for sensory motor activity, sleep, and appetite, the limbic system, governing emotions, attachment, affiliation, mood, and pleasure, hypothalamus, which is a key player in the HPA axis, and the cortex, associated with cognition, language, and listening.
My mom was paranoid schizophrenic, pretty severe, and she was very, very abusive towards me, pretty brutal, but my grandma gave me everything I wanted. But my grandma didn't help me because she didn't want to have a bad face in the community, so it was kind of tough.
When the HPA axis is dysregulated due to an excessive release of stress hormones like cortisol, it may impact blood pressure regulation, increasing the risk of hypertension. Elevated cortisol levels over a long period can contribute to unhealthy coping mechanisms, such as emotional eating or engaging in behavior like smoking or excessive alcohol consumption. This behavior can contribute to changes in cholesterol levels, insulin resistance, and obesity. The system is activated over and over again, and it goes from being addictive or life-saving. Children are especially sensitive to this repeated stress activation because their brains and bodies are just developing.
So tell me about Sam and the issues that he's having at school.
Well, he's like a totally different kid and not in a good way. All of a sudden this year, I've been getting calls 3-4 times a week from his teacher, the principal. They're saying things like he's acting out in class, he's having little kind of angry spurts all of a sudden.
The Adverse Childhood Experiences is a questionnaire to quantify instances of adverse or traumatic experience that client has had before the age of 18. A response of yes for each question is added to calculate the total S score. Scores of 4 or more indicate a high risk of health and social problems. Compared with people who have an A score of 0, those with higher scores are twice as likely to smoke, 5 times more likely to suffer from depression, 7 times more likely to be alcoholics, 10 times more likely to use illegal drugs, and 12 times more likely to attempt suicide.